So next, Ms. Hiroko Suzuki, Director of the International Affairs Division at the Japan Tourism Agency, will provide an overview of initiatives related to resilience. She will also explain the first pillar of the Sendai Statement, preventing and minimizing the impacts of crashes and disasters caused by natural hazards, and introduce the guidelines developed as outcomes of the working level meetings. Ms. Suzuki, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for joining our symposium today. My name is Hiroko Suzuki from Japan Tourism Agency. It is a great pleasure to have this opportunity to present Japan's initiative. Today, I would like to share with you Japan's effort to strengthen tourism resilience and our way forward toward 2027. This is outline of my presentation today. First, I will look at international discussion on tourism resilience. Then, I will introduce Japan's initiative on tourism resilience. And third, I will introduce our outcome of tourism resilience working level meetings, guidelines, and best practices. And finally, I will outline our roadmap toward 2027. Let me begin with the international discussion on tourism resilience. The risks surrounding tourism industry are increasing. As you can see, they include natural disaster risks, public health risks, and geopolitical risks. Please see the figure on the right. In particular, compared with other regions, the Asia-Pacific experience natural hazard-related risks at approximately 2 times more frequently. In addition, in many countries in the region, tourism accounts for a significant share of GDP. This makes them particularly vulnerable to these risks. In recent years, uncertainty has increased further due to geopolitical tensions. This underlines the importance of building strong, practical resilience measures. This slide shows how discussion on tourism resilience have evolved over time. In 2001, in response to September 11 terrorist attacks in the United States, the UN Tourism established the Tourism Recovery Committee in order to assess the state of tourism industry and recovery strategy. Then, in 2017, the United Nations designated the International Year of Sustainable Tourism for Development and adopted Montego Bay Declaration, which emphasized the collaboration with local government and private sector. And in 2019, the G20 Tourism Ministers meeting hosted by Japan, the importance of international cooperation was reaffirmed. However, you know, COVID-19 has a severe impact on tourism industry. In response, the G20 and WTTC confirmed the critical role of public-private collaboration in recovering from the COVID-19. And more recently, in 2023, UN Tourism formally declared February 17 as Global Tourism Resilience Day. In this way, tourism resilience have evolved from responding to individual crises into an international policy agenda. And in 2024, the United Nations General Assembly designated 2027 as the International Year of Sustainable and Resilient Tourism. At that time, UN Secretary General made a powerful remark: resilience in tourism is not a matter of planning or responding to crisis. His words show that resilience is no longer only about reacting shocks. As Dr. Duck, UN Tourism said, resilience is deeply linked to sustainability itself. Let me now turn to Japan's initiative of tourism resilience. In response to global focus on resilience, Japan hosted Tourism Resilience Summit in 2024 in collaboration with UN Tourism. This is the first ministerial meeting on tourism resilience in the framework of Asia-Pacific region. The summit was held in Sendai, a city that experienced the Great East Japan earthquake in 2011. By holding summit there, we were able to ground our discussion in real experience. The summit resulted in adoption of the Sendai Statement. The statement reaffirms the vulnerability of tourism sector to natural disaster and external shocks. It also pointed out that as the importance of tourism industry in economy worldwide is increasing, a global collaborative effort is needed to enhance tourism resilience. Sendai Statement highlights two key pillars. First, preventing and minimizing the impact. And second, observing impact and enable recovery and transformation. Next, let me briefly introduce our tourism resilience working level meetings. In order to make Sendai Statement more practical and effective, Japan Tourism Agency has been holding tourism resilience working level meeting in order to strengthen tourism resilience by sharing initiatives across Asia-Pacific region and addressing common challenges. I would like to thank everyone who joined this working level meeting from Indonesia, Korea, and Japanese stakeholders, JATA, JICA from Japan. This year, we focused on the preventing and minimizing the impact. And as the outcome of this meeting, we developed this guideline and collection of best practices. Let me now introduce these guidelines and practices. To prevent and minimizing the impact of crisis, it is important to take action from these four key aspects: risk assessment, cooperation, communication, and capacity building. Risk assessment means anticipating and evaluating risks on geopolitical conditions and characteristics of tourism industry in each destination. Cooperation means identifying necessary stakeholders and clarifying roles in advance in order to establish coordination systems that function effectively during crisis. Communication means informing tourists, tourism businesses, and residents about potential risks and ensure timely and accurate information sharing. And capacity building and conducting training, simulations, and capacity building both for individuals and organizations. In our guideline, we summarize recommended action under these four key pillars based on the key point derived from case studies collected from Asia-Pacific countries and tourism organizations. Let me highlight a key point on risk assessment. First, identifying region-specific vulnerabilities and conduct assessment driven by local stakeholders. For example, in Laos, local government, tourism operators, and local communities use their experience to identify local hazards and vulnerabilities and develop measures suited to each destination. In addition to national level plans, they have also developed guidelines at destination level. Second, assessing risks including both physical and psychological impact, and conducting regular reviews. Third, establishing mechanisms for relevant government agency to collect risk information in an integrated manner and incorporate into tourism plans. In Laos, they have a strengthened coordination across sectors by establishing destination management network. And next, on cooperation. First, establishing a clear command, communication, and information sharing framework among relevant organizations in normal times that function in time of crisis. Second, establishing council with the participation of diverse stakeholders. And third, developing manuals that support cooperative framework and present practical measures for crisis response. For example, in Singapore, standard procedures are in place and regularly updated so that government-designed facilities, such as hotels, can implement safety measures based on the same standard during COVID-19. This ensures the stakeholder can act in a coordinated and predictive way, even under uncertainty. And next, communication. First, providing clear and accessible safety information in multiple languages. And second, establishing information dissemination framework that enables the rapid and accurate information sharing during crisis. And third, building digital platform for centralized data management. For example, in Japan, the Japan Association of Travel Agents operates a shared system that keeps accommodation information updated in normal times. During crisis, this system enables rapid safety checks and damage assessment across accommodations, allowing to confirm travelers' safety and share accurate information correctly. Finally, the capacity building. First, providing business continuity plans on a proactive and ongoing basis through collaboration among diverse stakeholders tailored to local conditions. Second, conducting training, education, and capacity building programs that account for multilingual needs and behavioral characteristics of tourism. For example, PATA provides practical capacity building programs tailored to specific disaster risks faced by each destination in multiple languages. These include 10-module online course covering tourism resilience from risk assessment and prevention to recovery, as well as a workshop held in various destinations. They also providing training for SMEs and DMOs. Third, promote capacity development based on expert knowledge through collaboration with universities, research institutions. In the guidelines, we have compiled 15 examples of good practices from Asia-Pacific countries and several organizations. And I would greatly appreciate if you could take a look. The case studies are organized into 4 components, as shown this slide: risks, stakeholders, initiatives, and key points. In the risk section, we clarify which type of disaster and crisis each initiative is designed to address. In the stakeholder section, we map stakeholders involved in each initiative according to their roles. In the initiative, we summarize each initiative by focusing on how it functions in practice. In the key point, we extract essential elements and notable insight from each case, which will serve as a basis for the guideline which I explained. Finally, let me turn to roadmap toward 2027. After experiencing repeated crises, the key question now is how we can put resilience into practice. In 2025, we held Tourism Resilience Working Level meeting, focusing on preventing and minimizing the impact of disasters. And we developed guidelines and corrected good practices. In 2026, we will focus on observing impact and recovering through adaptation and transformation. And again, we intend to develop guidelines and good practices. The International Year of Sustainable and Resilience Tourism in 2027 will be an important milestone. Building on these efforts, we aim to identify concrete action and share experience of Asia-Pacific region with the world. Tourism resilience is a key to ensuring sustainable and secure future of tourism. We look forward to working together with all of you to advance these efforts. This concludes my presentation. Thank you very much for your attention.